Hey everyone, it's Divine Readings with the Gypsy. I'm going to try to keep this one as brief as I can without going over 20 minutes because one of my daughters is going to wake up any minute to want to be fed. So I've already fed one, but having twins you have two to feed, so I'm going to try to keep it as brief and simple as I can. This today's topic is going to be tarot goals for 2017. And I actually lost a little bit of sleep last night thinking about this, actually, as I really can't talk about my 2017's tarot goal without talking about my ultimate goal, and I don't think I have really talked about my ultimate goal, what I wanted to get out of tarot on YouTube yet, actually. In all of my videos, I don't think I have done it once, even though it is my driving force. I know with a lot of people on YouTube, or who's doing the big YouTube channels like Sacred Seed, even Kelly from Truth and Stories, she's expanding and things like that. Kelly Maddox, I think, is the only one that's the exception, but I'll get to her in a second. But they've reached the capacity or their end of the road as far as their ultimate goals in tarot. They're talking tarot to different people. They're actually going out in the tarot community and bringing it all together as a whole, and so many wonderful things. And don't get me wrong, that is wonderful in itself. But my ultimate goal actually has to do with, I want to do something beyond that. And I think Kelly Maddox is actually on that fringe. But like I said, I'll get there in a minute. But I actually want to go beyond that. I want to actually do public speaking for crowds of people, and eventually crowds of people, and talk about tarot, educating the masses about tarot, because even though it seems like we have a lot of people that are into tarot and we're discovering new people every day and things like that, we're really such a small minority compared to the big picture, honestly. There are about 6.6 billion people in the world. And the tarot community, plus or minus these numbers are just fabricated and made up by me. So don't take it with a grain of salt, basically. I think worldwide, there's only about 50 to 100,000 people in the world that does tarot professionally. And you put the numbers in your head and you're like, it kind of is like, really? Only like 50 to 100,000? But kind of adding up my feeds from YouTube, watching other people's YouTube views and being sneaky like that, and also, just kind of adding it all up, in my head mentally and things like that. Like, there's about 10,000 people that follow Kelly Maddox, and there's only like, 5,000 that's following Kelly from Truth and Story and things like that. It kind of actually puts a statistic there, actually, honestly. And honestly, the only, out of the like 50 to 100,000 people in the world that does tarot or collects tarot and things like that, only 10% of them are on any kind of social media. I would say, safe to say, about 10 to 20% of everybody who knows how to do tarot in the world is on is doing some sort of social media. Only 10 to 20%. That is a very few number and far between, believe it or not, in the grand scheme of things. And when we think of the tarot community being so big, it's actually so small. Because I like to think, this is kind of gets into why I want to be doing public speaking and being on stage and talking to the people that are not into tarot, the other 6.6 billion people, I feel like our art is dying off because of the pink elephant in the room. There is a big pink elephant in the room in our tarot community, and it's not getting any better. If anything, it's destroying our community little by little, and we're going to be the 80-year-old grandmothers. It's starting to be still that way. And the numbers are starting to go down, and everything is just starting to fade away because it's just because of my next topic. My next topic is the pink elephant in the room, and this pink elephant in the room, it has to do with a bigger percent of our community than we give it credit for. It's the con artists and the scam people, scammers in our community that are pretending to give away fortune tellings and tarot readings and fake psychics. The fake psychics, they actually do make up a big part of our tarot reading community, believe it or not. And if they are, and then there's some people that are legit tarot readers and things like that, and they still con people anyways. And honestly, I would hate to say that 50 to 100,000 people in the world that does tarot, it's safe to say that there's a 10% out there that are the con artists, that is still conning the helpless out there. And I like to think that the people who are in this YouTube community, I like to think that people in my Instagram community, my growing Instagram account community, are on the honest ones. But I gotta also remember there might be the one or two slipping into my feed and stuff that are stealing other people's pictures or giving fraudulent readings or, cheating people still, too. And that makes me sad, but you just gotta know that you gotta keep plowing forward in our community, and regardless of what those statistics are. And honestly, I feel like my job here is in the community is to educate my tarot community, and also more than re-educating my tarot community, but educating the external world about tarot communities and psychic communities and palm reading communities and why we still need them even though it's a dying art. A lot of it has to do with political stuff, like our governments are pushing people like us out, honestly. I have stories and things like that I've heard through the grapevines and stuff, that the government is trying to push out people like us out and trying to put in people with degrees and poop into school for 5-10 years for psychology, counseling degrees and stuff. Trying to push out people who are not qualified for people that are more qualified, that are probably just as shysters, just as bad as shysters as the tarot community has some bad shysters that gives us a bad name. And I don't believe in the con artist world. I really don't like it. It's the biggest pink elephant in our room, in our tarot community room. And I want to bring awareness to it. And it's just, this is something I'm very passionate about. And I really am passionate about being the next, believe it or not, I actually in a way want to be the next Long Island medium for this reason. Not in the way that I'm going around to random people and doing their readings or something like that, but there's the fact of re-educating people. Just the fact of getting to the outside world know what we're doing is not devil's work, witchcraft, or even though some of us are, I respect that some of us are in our community that are Wiccans and pagans, and I am one of them. But I want people to also know that this card community is also a way of self-healing. It's a way of doing, it's like a spiritual Reiki. I've done Reiki in the past and I wanted to get back into it again. But there's something about tarot that is kind of like the Reiki for the soul a little bit. When I give a reading and I get a big emotional hug at the end of the reading, or when I do talking and I get an emotional hug out of the talking, it's like Reiki for the soul, and I want others that are not in our tarot community feel that same Reiki, so to speak. So my goals for 2017, knowing that's my ultimate goal, going back to my goal of 2017 is baby steps. My year for 2017 is really all about healing myself. I've let myself go a little bit after having twins. I want to heal myself and my body. I want to also be a little bit more studious this year than I have last year and previous years. I want to be more studious in my tarot practice again. I have accumulated about 20 plus decks last year on a tarot buying binge, believe it or not. Over 20 plus decks. Half of my tarot collection that I have now was all because of last year. Kelly made me do about a good 5 to 10 of them. Sacred Seed, about 3, maybe 5 about them. But that's not the point. The point is, last year I accumulated a lot of decks. I don't mean a lot of decks. More than I can work with. Kind of a lot of decks. And my wish list, is growing. I saw Veronica Jude's wish list this morning, and I went... I really had a heart attack. I had a tarot heart attack. Like, I want her wish list kind of heart attack, but, I saw it this morning, and I was just like, oh, I want that one too. I forgot to mention that one. That kind of stuff, and I cannot watch people's wish list videos. It's terrible. But my point is, I'm got so many decks that I do need to work with that I do need to work with all these decks that I have, and I don't need to study my material a little bit more than just collecting. I was very much in my collectingness, even though it's not a word, collector's mentality last year. This year, I'm feeling a little bit more studious with my decks. I got some really awesome decks. I actually almost feel like whipping out my Marielle Tarot again. I feel like almost whipping out my Fallon Tarot. I'm actually really loving some oldies but goodies like the Illuminati, the Wild Unknown. They're oldies to me, but they're really not, to some people still. But yeah, there's some oldies but goodies for me that I feel like re-pulling out again, like the Illuminati deck is a fantastic deck. I really want the Tarot Apocalypse to talk about another one on my wish list. I do want the third edition of Dame Darcy deck, another one on my wish list, but that's another oldie but goodie for me. Actually, no, Dame Darcy, I lied. I got it in 2016, the beginning of 2016. But I just want to be more studious with the decks that I do have and really dig in deeper than just the surface level. I might splurge and buy another Marseille deck that I saw on the Usi site. I've been eyeing on it, and I'm like, ooh, I like you. But yeah, this Usi deck is really, I forgot its name, but it's very colorful and whimsical, and it's all Marseille, and I'm like, I'm actually thinking about splurging and getting that one, even though that's a $55 deck. Ouch. But my tarot goals for 2017, like I said, is more studious. Actually, Self-work versus and spiritual work, also for 2017, is a big part of my tarot practice, even though it doesn't seem like a big part of your tarot practice, but being more fit, being more proactive with your body as well as your spiritual body, because that's something I'm also need to learn too, is that if you're not proactive in your spiritual body, there is no way that you can be proactive in your community, and that's part of my ultimate goal, is being part of that bigger community than just the tarot community. And I respect if you're happy and comfortable where you are in the tarot community, and I can encourage people to still be in that happy and comfortable place where they are, because that has a place too. You don't have to be the big speaker like I am, maybe 20 years from now, on a big stage, trying to educate people and re-educate people about tarot, and or even just the psychic community in general. You being comfortable where you are in your community and things like that actually has a voice too, and sometimes we gotta learn that. That's my biggest goals of 2017 and my ultimate goal, and I actually will put that in my description video for today's 11. I just know that this is today's prompt, but today's 11. I'll figure it out when I posted this video, but I can't wait to watch other people's. I love watching other people's things. I was catching up this morning because yesterday I had my mom over at the house, and she's great with my tarot stuff, don't get me wrong, but she and I needed catching up because she had my family's she was distracted over the holidays with my family members, and I was totally distracted too, and that's why I'm catching up now. But I can't wait to watch other people's things, and I can't wait to see how things turn out for me, other people, and I really want people to really be more proactive and re-educating others if they can. I don't want to force it on people, but I'm just, do your little things, do your spiritual little things, even if it's not having to do with tarot. Do what, like, do a little Kelly Maddox. She's just, I think she's going to be bigger than she actually is. She's already the goddess of YouTube in a way. But she is amazing. I love Kelly, and I think her story's not over yet, and I'm very excited to see how it all works out for her. And take a little Kelly advice, Kelly Maddox advice, and do some self-love. Do some, love for others, even if it's random acts of kindness and things like that. And just be awesome. That's all we have to do, is be awesome. And I can't wait to see you on the flip side.